Okay, Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to today's reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hope everyone's doing well. So it's back, Wednesday is back, and we are reading Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays for around 45 minutes today. And we just dive in and read verses and purports of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we're going to do it today. Later on, I'll be joined by another person to read, to help me out. But let's go and just start diving. Before we start reading, we recite Mahima Stotra, glorification verses. Do you have that paper? Did you find it? It's should be should be this one.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, this one first. Yeah, there we go. So you can follow. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhantna Ratnadya Sarva Lokaika Drikpradam Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kalidvanto Ditaditya Shri Krishna Parivartitam Paramananda Patnaya Prema Vakshaksharayate Sarvanda Sarvasivyaya Shri Krishna Namostame Madhika Bandha Matsangin Madguru Madmahadana Manishtaraka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute Asadu Sadutadayin Atinicho Chataraka Hanamuncha Kadachimam Premna Hrit Kantayos Puran. Translation. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all of the worlds. O life air of all of the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun reasoning in darkness of Kali, you are the exact image of Sri Krishna. I bow down to you who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema, which is love. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sorry, Krishna. So for those you are here for the first time, you don't know, Srimad Bhagavatam is, it's explained, is like intermediate study or the advanced study. After we started Bhagavad Gita, which we're studying here now twice a week, Srimad Bhagavatam offers many more verses and more in-depth analysis or in-depth philosophy through many leelas, through many allegories, and through many narrations, and of course intertwined with philosophy. So this is what we do. We basically read. We just give it to our A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. These are his translation and his purports to absorb in that. Try not to go too fast, and you can always stop and ask if it's too fast or is it something not clear, or anything. So we're at Canto 3, Chapter 32, entitled Entanglement in Fruitive Activities, and verse number 37. 37. So I'll wait you to find it. 332, 37. Found it? Yeah? Okay, so we are still, just to refresh, to remind, it's Lord Kapila Dev instructing Mother Devahuti about everything, about all the science, all the spiritual science. And we're coming to an end of his narrations. So let's go. It's verse 37, translation. My dear mother, I have explained to you the process of devotional service and its identity in 4 different social divisions. I have explained to you as well how eternal time is chasing the living entities, although it is imperceptible to them. Purport. The process of Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, is the main river flowing down towards the sea of the absolute truth, and all other processes mentioned are just like tributaries, or the side rivers, small, how they called, streams. Lord Kapila is summarizing the importance of the process of devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, as described before, is divided into 4 divisions, 3 in the material modes of nature and 1 in transcendence, which is untinged by the modes of material nature. Devotional service mixed with the modes of material nature. Devotional service mixed with the modes of material nature is a means for material existence, whereas devotional service without desires for fruitive result and without attempts for empirical philosophical research is pure transcendental devotional service. So it just explains the different types of devotional service. Text 38. There are varieties of material existence.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Is there a Glenn Conan here?
Glenn? No, never heard of Glenn. Yeah.
That's alright. Is it just the 3 of you here tonight, is it?
Yeah, just us here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. Alright, lads.
All right. Thank you.
No, he's from.
Who's Glenn? Okay. All right. Sorry for interruption. Verse 38. There he is, Glenn. There are varieties of material existence for the living entity, according to the work he performs in ignorance or forgetfulness of his real identity. My dear mother, if anyone enters into that forgetfulness, he is unable to understand where his movements will end. So it's a danger if someone enters into forgetfulness. Means, well, how can you remember? Then you start forgetting, and you don't know where you're gonna end, like the verses. Who knows? Purport. There's one more. Either this or this. I'm not sure. Maybe they're both. Let's have a look. Maybe he can have one if they're both same. Much. So it's 3:32, 38. Purport. Once one enters into the continuation of material existence, it is very difficult to get out. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes himself, or sends his bona fide representative, and he leaves behind scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, so that the living entities hovering in the darkness of nescience may take advantage of the instructions, the saintly persons, and the spiritual masters, and thus be freed. Unless the living entity receives the mercy of the saintly persons, the spiritual master, or Krishna, it is not possible for him to get out of the darkness of material existence. By his own endeavor, it is not possible. Very crucial point. You can only get so far by your own endeavors. Text 39. Translation. Lord Kapila continued. This instruction is not meant for the envious, for the agnostics, or for persons who are unclean in their behavior, nor is it for hypocrites or for persons who are proud of material possessions. So there need to be some qualifications in order to be able to receive this knowledge. Text 40. It is not to be instructed to persons who are too greedy and too attached to family life, nor to persons who are non-devotees and who are envious of the devotees and of the personality of Godhead. So there is more qualifications. Purport. Persons who are always planning to do harm to other living entities are not eligible to understand Krishna consciousness and cannot enter into the realm of transcendental loving service to the Lord. Also, there are so-called disciples who become submissive to a spiritual master most artificially with an ulterior motive. They also cannot understand what Krishna consciousness or devotional service is. Persons who, due to being initiated by another sect of religious faith, do not find devotional service as the common platform for approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, also cannot understand Krishna consciousness. We have experienced that some students come to join us, but because of being biased in some particular type of faith, they leave our camp and become lost in the wilderness. Actually, Krishna consciousness is not a sectarian religious faith. It is a teaching process for understanding the Supreme Lord and our relationship with Him. Anyone can join this movement without prejudice, but unfortunately there are persons who feel differently. It is better, therefore, not to instruct the science of Krishna consciousness to such persons. Generally, materialistic persons are after some name, fame, and material gain. So if someone takes to Krishna consciousness for these reasons, he will never be able to understand this philosophy. Such persons take to religious principles as a social decoration. They admit themselves into some culture or institution for the sake of name only, especially in this age. Such persons also cannot understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Even if one is not greedy for material possessions, but is too attached to family life, he also cannot understand Krishna consciousness. Superficially, such persons are not very greedy for material possessions, but they are too attached to wife, children, and family improvement. When a person is not contaminated by the above-mentioned faults, yet at the ultimate issue is not interested in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or if he is a non-devotee, he also cannot understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Okay. So we heard who cannot get it. So now we're hearing how to whom should be given. Text 41. Instruction should be given to the faithful devotee who is respectful to the spiritual master, non-envious, friendly to all kinds of living entities, and eager to render service with faith and sincerity. 42. This instruction should be imparted by the spiritual master to persons who have taken the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be more dear than anything, who are not envious of anyone, who are perfectly cleansed, and who have developed detachment for that which is outside the purview of Krishna consciousness. Purport. In the beginning, no one can be elevated to the highest stage of devotional service. Here, bhakta means one who does not hesitate to accept the reformatory processes for becoming a bhakta. In order to become a devotee of the Lord, one has to accept a spiritual master and inquire from him about how to progress in devotional service. To serve a devotee, to chant the holy name according to a certain counting method, to worship the deity, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita from a realized person, and to live in a sacred place where devotional service is not disturbed, are the first out of 64 devotional activities for making progress in devotional service. One who has accepted these 5 chief activities is called a devotee. One must be prepared to offer the necessary respect and honor to the spiritual master. He should not be unnecessarily envious of his godbrothers. Rather, if a godbrother is more enlightened and advanced in Krishna consciousness, one should accept him as almost equal to the spiritual master, and one should be happy to see such godbrothers advance in Krishna consciousness. A devotee should always be very kind to the general public in instructing Krishna consciousness, because that is the only solution for getting out of the clutches of Maya. That is really humanitarian work, for it is the way to show mercy to other people who need it very badly. The word Shushusha Virataya indicates a person who faithfully engages in serving the spiritual master. One should give personal service and all kinds of comforts to the spiritual master. A devotee who does so is also a bona fide candidate for taking this instruction. The word Bahir, Jata Viragaya, means a person who has developed detachment from external and internal material propensities. Not only is he detached from activities which are not connected to Krishna consciousness, but he should be internally averse to the material way of life. Such a person must be non-envious and should think of the welfare of all living entities, not only of the human beings, but living entities other than human beings. The word Shuchaye means one who is cleansed both externally and internally. To become actually cleansed externally and internally, one should chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna or Vishnu, constantly. The word Diyatam means that knowledge of Krishna consciousness should be offered by the spiritual master. The spiritual master must not accept a disciple who is not qualified. He should not be professional and should not accept disciples for monetary gains. The bona fide spiritual master must see the bona fide qualities of a person whom he is going to initiate. An unworthy person should not be initiated. The spiritual master should train his disciple in such a way so that in the future only the Supreme Personality of Godhead will be the dearmost goal of his life. In these 2 verses, the qualities of a devotee are fully explained. One who has actually developed all the qualities listed in these verses is already elevated to the post of a devotee. If one has not developed all these qualities, he still has to fulfill these conditions in order to become a perfect devotee. So 43, it's the last verse of this chapter. Anyone who once meditates upon me with faith and affection, who hears and chants about me, surely goes back home, back to Godhead. Thus end the Bhagavatam purports of the 3rd canto, 32nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Entanglement in Fruitive Activities. Jai. So we continue. Chapter 33, which is entitled Activities of Kapila. Text 1. Okay, text 1, translation. Sri Maitreya said, Thus Devahuti, the mother of Lord Kapila and wife of Kardama Muni, became freed from all ignorance concerning devotional service and transcendental knowledge. She offered her obeisances unto the Lord, the author of the basic principles of the Sankhya system of philosophy, which is the background of liberation, and she satisfied him with the following verses of prayer. So we're going to see the prayers of Devahuti. Purport. The system of philosophy enunciated by Lord Kapila before his mother is the background for situation on the spiritual platform. The specific significance of this system of philosophy is stated herein as Siddha Bhumim. It is the background of salvation. People who are suffering in this material world, because they are conditioned by the material energy, can easily get freedom from the clutches of matter by understanding the Sankhya philosophy enunciated by Lord Kapila. By this system of philosophy, one can immediately become free, even though one is situated in this material world. That stage is called Jivan Mukti. This means that one is liberated even though one stays with his material body. That happened for Devahuti, the mother of Lord Kapila, and she therefore satisfied the Lord by offering her prayers. Anyone who understands the basic principle of Sankhya philosophy is elevated in devotional service and becomes fully Krishna conscious or liberated even within this material world. So now Devahuti starts speaking. Devahuti said, Brahma is said to be unborn because he takes birth from the lotus flower which grows from your abdomen while you lie in the ocean at the bottom of the universe. But even Brahma simply meditated upon you, whose body is the source of unlimited universes. Purport. Brahma is also named Aja, he who is unborn. Whenever we think of someone's birth, there must be a material father and mother, and thus one is born. But Brahma, being the first living creature within this universe, was born directly from the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, the Vishnu form lying down in the ocean at the bottom of the universe. Devahuti wanted to impress upon the Lord that when Brahma wants to see him, he has to meditate upon him. You are the seat of all creation, she said. Although Brahma was directly born from you, he still has to perform many years of meditation, and even then he cannot see you directly, face to face. Your body is lying within the vast water of the bottom of the universe, and thus you are known as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. The nature of the Lord's gigantic body is also explained in this verse. That body is transcendental, untouched by matter. Since the material manifestation has come from his body therefore existed before the material creation. The conclusion is that the transcendental body of Vishnu is not made of material elements. The body of Vishnu is the source of all other living entities, as well as the material nature, which is also supposed to be the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devahuti said, You are the background of the material manifestation and are an all created energy. Therefore, your delivering me from the clutches of Maya by explaining the system of Sankhya philosophy is not so astonishing. But your being born from my abdomen is certainly wonderful, because although you are the source of all creation, you have so kindly taken birth as my child. That is most wonderful. Your body is the source of all the universe, and still you put your body within the abdomen of a common woman like me. To me, that is most astonishing. And it is very astonishing. How is that possible? Prabhu, would you like to read till?
Yeah.
Would you? If you want. Oh. Sure.
It is metaphoric, I think. It's metaphoric. It's in the sense that this is born from the abdomen, meaning that it's born the abdomen while lying in the ocean of the bottom of the universe. The bottom of the universe, deep down.
Maybe it's also metaphoric, but it's not. I mean, it's not. It's real. Maybe they also has metaphorical meaning, but we take meaning as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it is what we are. You can actually imagine what we are reading.
Yes.
Not in any. There's any other meaning.
Yes.
There are many meanings on top, or
Yeah.
secondary meanings.
Yeah.
But there's a primary meaning that we shouldn't negate. That actually.
No.
Yeah, just to say. Say hi to Mandra Ghosh.
Hare Krishna. So the verse 3 of 33 chapter. My dear Lord, although personally you have nothing to do, you have distributed your energies in the interactions of the material modes of nature, and for that reason the creation, maintenance and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation take place. My dear Lord, you are self-determined and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead for all living entities. For them you created this material manifestation, and although you are one, your diverse energies can act multifariously. This is inconceivable to us. Purport. The statement made in this verse by Devahuti that the Supreme Absolute Truth has many diverse energies, although he personally has nothing to do, is confirmed in the Upanishads. There is no one greater than him or on an equal level with him, and everything is completely done by his energy, as if by nature. It is understood herein, therefore, that although the modes of material nature are entrusted to different manifestations like Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, each of whom is particularly invested with different kinds of power, the Supreme Lord is completely aloof from such activities. Devahuti is saying, although you personally are not doing anything, your determination is absolute. There is no question of your fulfilling your will with the help of anyone else besides yourself. You are in the end the Supreme Soul and the Supreme Controller. Your will, therefore, cannot be checked by anyone else. The Supreme Lord can check others' plans. As it is said, man proposes and God disposes. But when the Supreme Personality of Godhead proposes, that desire is under no one else's control. He is absolute. We are ultimately dependent on him to fulfill our desires, but we cannot say that God's desires are also dependent. That is his inconceivable power. That which may be inconceivable for ordinary living entities is easily done by him. And in spite of his being unlimited, he has subjected himself to being known from the authoritative scriptures like the Vedic literatures. It is said, Shabda Mulatvat. He can be known through the Shabda Brahma or Vedic literature. Why is the creation made? Since the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead for all living entities, he created this material manifestation for those living entities who want to enjoy or lord it over material nature. As a Supreme Godhead, he arranges to fulfill their various desires. It is confirmed also in the Vedas, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. The Supreme One supplies the necessities of the many living entities. There is no limit to the demands of the different kinds of living entities, and the Supreme One, the Supreme Personality of Godhead alone, maintains them and supplies them by his inconceivable energy. Text 4. As a Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have taken birth from my abdomen. O my Lord, how is that possible for the Supreme One who has in his belly all the cosmic manifestation? The answer is that it is possible, for at the end of the millennium you lie down on a leaf of a banyan tree, and just like a small baby, you lick the toe of your lotus foot. Purport. At the time of dissolution, the Lord sometimes appears as a small baby lying on a leaf of a banyan tree, floating on the devastating water. Therefore, Devahuti suggests, your lying down within the abdomen of a common woman like me is not so astonishing. You can lie down on the leaf of a banyan tree and float on the water of devastation as a small baby. It is not very wonderful, therefore, that you can lie down in the abdomen of my body. Here's a picture of the. There's a picture of him lying down on the ocean of devastation.
He has a toe in his mouth.
Huh?
He has a toe.
Yeah, licking the toe, sucking the toe. You teach us that those who are very fond of children within this material world and who therefore enter into marriage to enjoy family life with children can also have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their child. And the most wonderful thing is that the Lord Himself licks His toe. Since all the great sages and devotees apply your energy and all activities in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there must be some transcendental pleasure in the toes of His lotus feet. The Lord licks His toe to taste the nectar for which the devotees always aspire. Sometimes the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself wonders how much transcendental pleasure is within Himself, and in order to taste His own potency, He sometimes takes the position of tasting Himself. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna Himself, but He appears as a devotee to taste the sweetness of the transcendental mellow in Himself, which is tasted by Srimati Radharani, the greatest of all devotees. Text 5. My dear Lord, you have assumed this body in order to diminish the sinful activities of the fallen and to enrich their knowledge and devotion and liberation. Since these sinful people are dependent on your direction, by your own will you assume incarnations as a boar and other forms. Similarly, you have appeared in order to distribute transcendental knowledge to your dependents. Purport. In the previous verses, the general transcendental qualifications of the Supreme Personality of Godhead were described. Now the specific purpose of the Lord's appearance is also described. By His different energies, He bestows different kinds of bodies upon the living entities, who are conditioned by their propensity to lord it over material nature. But in course of time, these living entities become so degraded that they need enlightenment. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that whenever there are discrepancies in the discharge of the real purpose of this material existence, the Lord appears as an incarnation. The Lord's form, as Kapila, directs the fallen souls and enriches them with knowledge and devotion, so that they may go back to Godhead. There are many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like those of the boar, the fish, the tortoise, and the half-man, half-lion. Lord Kapila Dev is also one of the incarnations of Godhead. He is accepted herein that Lord Kapila Dev appeared on the surface of the earth to give transcendental knowledge to the misguided conditioned souls. So which are the incarnations? The boar? Who knows the name?
No, the symphony. The symphony was the half lion, half man.
Yeah.
Which is the incarnation of the boar?
Yeah.
You know the name?
Do you remember the name?
Incarnation of the boar? The name?
What is boar?
There are incarnations like those of the boar, Varahadev, the fish.
Yes. The boar. I don't know what's the boar. What is
Matsu.
the boar?
The Lord comes in all these incarnations we just heard.
Yes, I know. But what is the boar? The
Boar, it's like a
Boar
wild-
incarnation.
Wild pig.
pig. What? You live in I don't know. You live in the
Wild pig with
Tusks.
some tusks.
So the Lord appears in different forms,
Yes.
like the boar, the fish, Matsya avatar, the tortoise, Kurma, and the half man, half lion, which is
Lion of Dino.
Yes, it's the one that the one the portrait.
One name is there here, yeah, but we have it there also.
Now it's
See that?
It's
Yeah.
called.
It's this one.
The name is Nrisimhadev. So next text 6. To say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face, even a person born in a family of dog-eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him. So how to advance spiritually?
It says here.
Even if you're born in a family of dog eaters,
Always remember him.
What does
you
that
can,
mean?
huh?
Always
What
remember.
does that mean? Anyone can do it.
Then you immediately become eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if you only once utter the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Which is? You know any names of the Lord?
Remember?
You know any names of the Lord?
Lord Kapila Dev.
Huh?
Kapila Dev.
Kapila Dev, yes.
That's one. Yeah.
Any names? Any more names of Supreme Personality?
We have many there. On the board.
How many names?
Krishna.
Krishna, yes. The holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Hare.
You know any? Name of the Lord? Lord Kapila, yes. Or any incarnation? So Lord, as He is unlimited, He also has unlimited names. And chanting about Him means to chant His holy names. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna Rama, names of the Lord. Krishna, the cowherd incarnation. Rama, the perfect king. You hear about, and then hearing about his pastimes connected to his names. You offer him obeisances and remember him. This is how you advance spiritually. To say nothing of seeing him face to face, that comes later. Okay, purport. Herein the spiritual potency of chanting, hearing, or remembering the holy name of the Supreme Lord is greatly stressed. Rupa Goswami has discussed the sequence of sinful activities of the conditioned soul, and he has established a Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is the nectar of devotion, that those who engage in devotional service become freed from the reactions of all sinful activities. How do you get freed from all sinful activities? Engaging in devotional service. Yes.
So sorry. Devotional service.
Correct.
Bhagavatam Kirtan.
Huh?
Reading the scriptures.
Excuse me?
Reading the scriptures also.
Reading scriptures.
Yeah,
That's also good, yeah. It's also devotional service. And this is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says that He takes charge of one who surrenders unto Him, and He makes him immune to all reactions to sinful activities. And see, the Lord takes care. If by chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead one becomes so swiftly cleared of all reactions to sinful activities, then what is to be said of those persons who see Him face to face? So we don't have to wait to see the Lord face to face to get free from all sinful reactions, get free from sinful life. Can get this earlier if we do some devotional service. Another consideration here is that persons who are purified by the process of chanting and hearing become immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. Generally, only a person who is born in a family of Brahmanas, who has been reformed by the 10 kinds of purificatory processes and who is learned in Vedic literature, is allowed to perform the Vedic sacrifices. But here the word sadhya, immediately, is used. And Sridhar Swami also remarks that one can immediately become eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. Immediately. A person born in a family of the low caste, which is accustomed to eat dogs, is so positioned due to his past sinful activities. But by chanting or hearing once in pureness or in an offenseless manner, he is immediately relieved of the sinful reaction. Not only is he relieved of the sinful reaction, but he immediately achieves the result of all purificatory processes. Taking birth in the family of a Brahmana is certainly due to pious activities in one's past life. But still a child who is born in a family of a Brahmana depends for his further reformation upon initiation into acceptance of a sacred thread and many other reformatory processes. But a person who chants the holy name of the Lord, even if born in a family of Chandalas, dog-eaters, does not need reformation. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, he immediately becomes purified and becomes as good as the most learned Brahmana. Immediately. Sridhar Swami especially remarks in this connection, Anena pujayat tvam lakshyate. Some caste Brahmanas remark that by chanting Hare Krishna, purification begins. Of course, that depends on the individual process of chanting, but this remark of Sridhar Swami is completely applicable if one chants the holy name of the Lord without offense, for he immediately becomes more than a Brahmana. As Sridhar Swami says, Pujatvam, he immediately becomes as respectable as a most learned Brahmana and can be allowed to perform Vedic sacrifices. If simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord one becomes sanctified instantly, then what can be said of those persons who see the Supreme Lord face to face and who understand the descent of the Lord as Devahuti understands Kapiladev? Usually initiation depends on the bona fide spiritual master who directs the disciple. If he sees that the disciple has become competent and purified by the process of chanting, he offers the sacred thread to the disciple just so that he will be recognized as 100% equal with a Brahmana. This is also confirmed in the Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sri Sanatana Goswami. As a base metal like bell metal, as a base metal like bell metal can be changed into gold by a chemical process, any person can similarly be changed into a Brahmana by Diksha Vidhana, the initiation process. It is sometimes remarked that by the chanting process one begins to purify himself and can take birth in his next life in a Brahmana family and then be reformed. But at this present moment, even those who are born in the best Brahmana families are not reformed, nor is there any certainty that they are actually born of Brahmana fathers. Formerly, the Garbhodana reformatory system was prevalent, but at the present moment there is no such Garbhodana or seed-giving ceremony. This is it's a ceremony you do before what are the words?
Before the conception?
This is for conception, for conception of good children. It's a spiritual. Yeah, it's a samskara means. What are the words? So, at the time of conception, some spiritual activities are done, so the good souls are invited. So under these circumstances, no one knows if a man is factually born of a Brahman father. Whether one has acquired the qualification of a Brahmana depends on the judgment of a bona fide spiritual master. He bestows upon the disciple the position of a Brahmana by his own judgment. When one is accepted as a Brahmana in the sacred thread ceremony under the Pancharatrika system, then he is Dvija, twice born. That is confirmed by Sanatana Goswami. Dvijatvam jayate. By the process of initiation by the spiritual master, a person is accepted as a Brahmana in his purified state of chanting the holy name of the Lord. He then makes further progress to become a qualified Vaishnava, which means that the Brahminical qualification is already acquired. Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. We end now? Huh? It's time to stop. Yeah.